Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou joins us right now. Ange, lovely to have you on. Thanks for coming on.
Evening, Ange.
Hey, evening, gents. How are you?
Very good. Before we talk about Real Madrid, 9-0 against Dundee United. Not a bad weekend for you.
It was good. To be fair, the boys were on it yesterday. We started the game strongly and kind of didn't lose our focus of discipline. Dundee United going through a bit of a rough patch. A couple of Aussies there as well, Beers and Aziz Bajic, who I caught up with after the game. But like I said, our boys maintained their discipline. Just one of those days where everything clicked for us. Scored some good goals, which was really pleasing as well.
Big week ahead, Rangers at home and then Real Madrid at home. I mean, when the draw was made and you're watching it, you couldn't really ask for more than the holders and Real Madrid at home in the first game, could you?
Yeah, look, you kind of go into it. The first thing is just the excitement of being in it. You don't underestimate the value of just being in the competition. It's a massive football club. It's got great history in this competition, but we haven't been in the group stages for a little while, and that whole anticipation around the draw, and as you said, you're going to get some big clubs in there, but the whole excitement for our supporters, for our whole football club around the draw was great. And then once the draw's made, I mean, you kind of you start thinking about the possibilities of playing each club that you're involved with. People kind of make their assessments from a sort of coaching perspective. It's going to be a tough group and it's going to challenge us in every way, and no bigger one than having the reigning sort of holders at home in the first game.
And Ange, in terms of pre-season, the last quite a few seasons you've had to qualify or try to qualify for the champion. This time it was pretty much a plain run. Now, obviously, the focus for players is fitness in pre-season, but sometimes managers also just try to throw a little bit something different tactically, knowing what type of competition that they're playing in. I've noticed a few things. You're off to a flying start. Did you focus on something a little bit more different from a tactical perspective in pre-season?
Yeah, I always do, Foz. I think that, I'm sorry, Bozza. There's always a kind of natural evolution with every team I coach. I think it's really important in the game today. And you're constantly evolving the way you want to play your football. Last year was very much about just sort of creating a really strong foundation. I mean, we made, I think, 17 or 18 transfers last year. So, we kind of embedded certain principles in our game. This year's about, evolving that and looking at the different opportunities we have to become a better team, more effective team. You kind of know that the challenges will be bigger this year for sure, domestically and obviously now in the Champions League. But it's not more of a reflection of, the competitions we're going to be in or the challenges. It's just a reflection of the team evolving. Like I said, we had an unusual pre-season for us where no competitive games, so we kind of took the opportunity to just work more on our game style, and I think that's been priceless for us. Even the first sort of 4 weeks of the Premiership, we've only had a game a week, which again is unusual for us. So we've had some really good training sessions, which I think help us both from a physical perspective, but also around our game model.
And Ange, there's a nice connection with you with Real Madrid. Of course, you got in the first up game. We're going to be doing that one here on Stan Sport. We can't wait. All of Australian football is so excited. You played under Ferenc Puskas, of course, a great Real Madrid legend. And aside from that, what did you take out of European competition last year? So, hugely successful. You won the title and cup over there in Scotland. But what do you take this year and your second year into European competition?
Yeah, look, you're right, Foz, in terms of the connection with Ferenc Puskas. He was just one of those, bizarre set of circumstances that only football can throw together, where one of the world's greatest ever players ends up, at a club like South Melbourne, all that time ago. And whilst we appreciated the fact that we did have a legend in our sort of dressing room, we certainly took every advantage of trying to just drill him for information. He was the most humble, respectful guy. He'd done everything in the game, and he always downplayed things. But we always asked him about the Real Madrid team. We always asked him about the Hungarian team that went to Wembley, the Real Madrid team that here at Hampden in Scotland, won the European Cup against Eintracht Frankfurt. It was, and just to hear him talk about it, and he was such a lover of football that was really, attacking, expansive. Even back then, I mean, you guys remember we used to have Kim Monteadoros and Peter Talakis on a wing, and I was a fullback, and I used to get 7 or 8 players running at me, and he just used to tell Kim on and stay in the halfway line. All my complaints fell on they fell on deaf ears. He always just tell me they're here to watch the wingers, Ange, and not here to watch you. So that kind of sort of resonated with me at the time. It's kind of football that I really loved as well, that was passed on to me by my dad, and it's the kind of football I want my teams to play as a manager. So it had a real big influence, and I think last year being in Europe, sort of the connection there was, we went out there to test ourselves. We went out there to measure ourselves, and whilst we didn't have success in the kind of way people sort of measure success, I still felt there was progress for us in terms of, going out there and knowing, what our capabilities are, what potential weaknesses we have. We got spanked by Leverkusen at home 4-0, but, we ended up winning 3 group games in the Europa League. And, for me, everything I do in terms of the way I want to play our football is about trying to win things, win games, win trophies, be successful. And, whilst that's a bit of a longer road to take, I think sometimes in terms of getting your ultimate reward, I still felt it was progress for us last year. We fell out of it. We had a couple of disappointing games against Bodo Glimt in the second half of the year. But, at the same time, I was kind of, I made no bones of the fact I was concentrating on winning the league at the time, because I just felt that's where, our biggest sort of reward lay. But, we learned a lot. The players learned a lot. But most importantly, we learned a lot because we were prepared to measure ourselves by playing our football rather than sort of adjusting our approach.
You mentioned there Puskás playing down his achievements. I imagine you might play this down. And Foz said, all of Australia is excited to see how you do. Are you aware, I moved here a year ago, are you aware with how proud Australian soccer fans are that you are doing so well?
Look, I guess I am aware of it. I mean, I haven't been home, to be fair. I've been home close to 4 years now because, combination of sort of COVID and then coming straight from Japan here to Scotland. And it's fair to say, when I did leave Australia, there wasn't probably the universal love there is for me now. So it is a little bit different. But look, I take pride in that. I mean, I was the one that, back in Boz's day and when those guys were trailblazing in the Premier League, I followed every player's career over here on this side of the world because, we feel attached to their stories because we know kind of where they've grown up and where they've come from. And, that's where I'm at the moment. So, I really do appreciate it and I understand the impact that I can have, not so much for myself, but for the game back home. Because ultimately, for me, whenever people will sort of assess me at some point and my capabilities, what they need to know is that all my football education pretty much happened in Australia. It wasn't limited to Australia. I mean, I obviously made sure I educated myself beyond those borders, but, I grew up in Australia. I played my football in Australia. My coaching journey started in Australia, and hopefully that shows that, geography shouldn't play a part in sort of, a person's opportunities.
Yeah, great comment. I hear you. Let's talk about some fellow Australians as well. Harry Kuehl, how's he doing? And also Aaron Mooy. And obviously a lot of people over here are very interested to know how Aaron's going with the World Cup looming.
Yeah, both really good. He's come in and, he's full of enthusiasm and it's, H ain't shy about, getting involved with people. And it's been great to have him part of the group, and the same with Aaron. They both bring qualities I know that are unique kind of to Australians in that, they got a really good, strong work ethic. They're very ambitious. They want to be successful. Harry's obviously trying to get a coaching manager career off the ground, and I kind of followed his progress from afar as I try to do with most Australian coaches, particularly the ones working abroad. And I just felt there was an opportunity there to bring him into a really good environment where he can learn, he can develop, and hopefully go away and sort of have the career he wants. And with Aaron, it was just it was a great opportunity for me. I mean, I had him in the national team. I think he's an outstanding player. And he's got a great experience at the highest level in terms of playing in the Premier League and at national team level with the Socceroos, obviously. And I still think he's a fantastic player. I mean, his game against Peru was outstanding. I thought back in June, considering he hadn't played for a long time. And he's fit in really well here, and he'll be an important part of what we do going forward.
You've got the Old Firm derby, of course, and Rangers are in for the first time with Celtic since, I think, 2007, Ange. So just give us a sense. There's a lot of Scottish football supporters here in Australia about how the city is going and, you know, what the anticipation is for this season.
Yeah, massive. Well, as you said, Rangers got into the Champions League. I think it's the first time in, I don't know, probably since early 2000s where both clubs are in the Champions League group stage, and both clubs are strong. You know, if you look at kind of the recent history of the Premiership, one team's tended to dominate over another. There's only been a few times probably where both teams are really, really strong, and that's certainly the case right now. And it just adds to I guess, the rivalry that already exists. And, you know, it's a good thing because I think, you know, for any individual or organisation to progress, you measure yourself always against the competition. And if the competition's strong, it means you've got to get stronger all the time. So I think it's, I think it's a positive thing. It's great for Scottish football that the two clubs are in the group stages. There are a lot of nations who, don't get that, that opportunity. So it's going to be, there's always a big build-up. We've actually got, we've got a cup game against Ross County on Wednesday night. So, we've got another game to go before then. So, our focus is kind of there, but there's always a big build-up to these games, and the atmosphere is going to be brilliant. Can't wait for Saturday, and again with the Real Madrid game, everyone tells me that European nights at Celtic Park are something extraordinary. So I can't wait to experience it.
That's great respect for Ross County, just taking each game at Rangers and then Real Madrid. What do you make of the group as a whole? Real Madrid, they've got no Casemiro. Modric and Kroos must get tired one day, mustn't they? And then RB Leipzig and Shakhtar as well.
Yeah, you're one of these guys, Max, that looks at it and go, they're a chance to win this group, no problem. It's a great challenge. Look, it doesn't matter who you get. That's why the Champions League is the competition, that it is. You've got to understand. I mean, we're in pot 4. There's a reason we're in pot 4. Yeah, that's done by design, and that is because in Europe recently we haven't had the greatest of experiences, and my job is to now get us to a level where, my ultimate aim is to make us a Champions League club, and what I mean by that is a club that plays in the Champions League every year, that competes, that makes an impact, and to do that, you've really got to, you've got to understand that every experience you have is an opportunity to learn, to develop, to be better, and the teams in our group are going to test us in every single way, whether that's obviously you got the obvious in Real, but if you look at Shakhtar and Leipzig, they're consistently been in European Champions League group stages the last few years, which shows the calibre of team and players that they have. And I think experience at Champions League level is really important. So for us, it's just about going out there and really challenging ourselves. Like I said, my ultimate aim for our football club is to make us a Champions League club. And that means that you don't, we've had famous victories in the past, and it'd be great to have another big scalp, but that's not where the growth lies. The growth lies in playing all these games, playing our football, measuring ourselves, hopefully making progress, and then building on that for years to come.
And Ange, what's going to be after the draw? Are you sending a different person to watch the other 3 teams, or are you going to go watch one of those teams beforehand? How do you work it there at Celtic?
Yeah, no, we've got a strong scouting department. Bozza and they'll be tracking all the clubs now. We'll have somebody watching, obviously Real this weekend. We had somebody watching them yesterday. And moving forward, obviously the group games will be running sort of on at the same time. So we'll have a good look at Shakhtar and Leipzig when they play each other in the first game. So we'll track them. I mean, we always scout our opposition irrespective of the level. Obviously, with the teams of this calibre, you can be a little bit more extensive in your research because they're teams that obviously play in different leagues we haven't played against recently. So that gives you an opportunity to really assess them. But we'll get all the information in and we'll scout them really well and make sure we're well prepared.
The World Cup trophy was in Sydney. It's doing a world tour, I think, and it brought Rivaldo with it. And our very own Vince Rugari asked Graham Arnold, who was also there, how he thought you would get on, Ange, in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think obviously Celtic have made a great start. You know, I was watching the game last night and I actually was over it when it was half time at 4-5-0. So, and it's great for Ange and what they're doing. I'd never underestimate Ange Postecoglou. I think if there's one coach out there who could shock and do something special, it's him.
Are you happy with that, Ange?
Yeah. Look, to be fair, I think it's still probably my my greatest weapon, so to speak. I reckon till the day I sort of finish, people will be underestimating me, and I don't mind that. It's a nice space to be.
Oh, listen, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate your time. You managed to stay in your seat while Boz was asking 10-minute questions, which we appreciate greatly. Good luck at the weekend. Good luck against Ross County, Rangers and Real Madrid.
Can't wait.
Thanks, guys. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much.
See you there.
Thank you so much. Keep going, mate.